But hey, this is Dr. Pompa here, and Meredith, who many of you have spoken to from Revelation Health, and you can see that that's where we are. So it's a really special show today, obviously, and we have some really special information about gut healing smoothies. And we just put out a book about gut healing smoothies, right?
Yes.
And you can tell them how to get that book for sure. So, but you know, on today's show, we're bringing them in. You know, you are the best at these. I'm going to be honest with you. When I was sick, I did. I mean, I made shakes and smoothies every day because it was really the only thing that I could digest. I mean, most foods I would react to, and I wasn't able to get the nutrition in from regular food. I would just be bloated, and it seems as though when I did a smoothie, I didn't get the bloating and that severe digestion. Obviously, because a lot of the digestion is done for you here, you know, which actually really gets the nutrition, you know, into your body much faster through a hurt and gut that needs healing. So, but today, obviously, we're going to demonstrate, but we want to bring some information too.
Yes.
So, and Meredith, you are just the knowledge queen when it comes to these smoothies. So
oh, well, thank you.
Yours are better than mine, I can attest to that.
Oh, gosh. Well, I love a good smoothie, and at the end of the show, we'll tell you how to access the smoothie book. It has over 25 recipes that Dr. Pompa and I have worked on to put together for you that are specifically targeting gut healing and gut health. So these smoothies are easy to digest, contain really good high-quality fat, protein, and just a lot of awesome ingredients to really help your gut heal. So, so it's pretty exciting. But just to kind of back up a little bit, why do we need to heal our gut in the first place? What is going on? You know, really, it's kind of an epidemic these days. So many people have gut challenges.
Yeah.
You know, hear that all the time: Crohn's, colitis, IBS. You know, leaky gut. All of these things that we hear about that people are suffering from. What is causing this epidemic kind of in the first place? Can you just talk a little bit about that?
That's why they have me here, because the smoothie queen, she's here. I'm here for that information. You know, no, I mean, obviously, food today is playing a big role in that. And I think most people understand processed food is playing a role in that. The empty calorie type of foods that people are eating. But I think the big message is, the hidden message is the hidden toxins is in our food, in our environments. Not just the environment outside as much as the environment that things we're doing to ourselves. So, you know, when we look at food, today our children are exposed to things, therefore so are we now, but that we really didn't grow up on. Foods and chemicals that we didn't grow up on. So for example, genetically modified foods. You know, there is study after study coming out to show that these foods put holes, leaky gut, in our gut. And we'll talk more about what that actually means. But also the chemical that they're spraying on just about every food that we eat. So if you're eating conventional grain in your diet, which most people watching, well, our audience is a little more educated, but you know, most of the population is still eating conventional grains, you know, whether it's brown rice or, you know, whatever the grain. They're all sprayed, oatmeal, right? And they're sprayed with glyphosate. It's a chemical that they used to use, and still do, actually, as an herbicide, pesticide, but now they're doing it to even before they harvest the grain because it causes something called desiccation where the grain shrivels. It actually increases the ease of harvest and also the amount of seed that it actually pushes out. So the bottom line, that's aka higher yields, which means more money. So that's why they utilize this chemical that a company named Monsanto makes. And by the way, you are familiar with it in Roundup. So they are making genetically modified crops called Roundup Ready. Oh, that means that you can spray tons of this stuff on your crop without killing the crop because they genetically modified it to withstand their chemical. And look, and it's not just GMO crops, although they have the highest exposure of this chemical, but it's, you know, all grains. And look, many foods, glyphosate is ubiquitous in our society right now, in our food supply. And we know that it destroys bacteria in the gut, that we also know affects the brain. And according to senior scientist at MIT, Stephanie Seneff, we know that it's leading to diabetes, dementia, other brain conditions, and many other different conditions. And we know it also puts holes in the gut. So, you know, that's just one chemical. I mean, we're talking about, you know, we grew up probably with me, in the lead generation. But that lead started in our parents and it's handed down into their children. I've read many articles about this, and it's handed down to their children. They estimate 4 generations. You know, we grew up in the mercury generation, all right? They started putting amalgam fillings that contain mercury. You know, release mercury, the life of the filling. Where's that mercury going? First, in the gut. We talk about lotions, chemicals, cleaners. I mean, all of these things that we're exposed to.
Yep.
You know, to answer your question, I mean, that is really driving this epidemic of what we know today as leaky gut, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, colitis, which are autoimmune conditions, and we can talk a whole show about that. I wrote an article about autoimmune conditions. But this is what's destroying the gut. Once the gut is compromised, it leads to many other different conditions and diseases.
Wow, wow. And what are some of the symptoms of leaky gut specifically? Because that is such a common condition, and people may not know that they have it, but they know something's not right.
Well, you know, I remember I read estimates one time that they said, you know, 95% of America has leaky gut.
Wow.
Well, wait a minute, that's practically everyone watching the show, and I guess they would say, well, I don't know that I have that. Well, look, you know, it can be something as simple as just periodic, every once in a while, digestive issues. When you have leaky gut, certain foods leak across the gut, and your body then creates antibodies to those proteins that didn't get broken down all the way. So what happens is when those proteins don't get broken down, you're forming an immune reaction to it. Okay, what does that mean? So that means you get symptoms hours later that you don't even associate with digestion. So many people out there watch this and say, well, I don't have a problem with digestion. Yes, but you may have headaches periodically that's related to leaky gut, related to the food you ate hours and hours ago. Even sometimes the day before, that's how slow the process can be.
Wow.
Allergies to different things, environmental things, sleep issues, anxiety. You know, so multiple different conditions could be related to your leaky gut.
Wow. Can you talk about the gut-brain connection and kind of the new science there? That's really exciting information. Talking about headaches possibly being, you know, connected to something you ate.
There's something called the enteric nervous system that literally connects this brain to what is known now as the second brain, which is your gut. So we know that there's this neurological connection. I'm sure some of you are watching, you say, you know, I just have that gut feeling about something. Well, that's part of that connection, right? I mean, that's a reality. You know, you feel things here. If you ever get a bad phone call, I have 5 kids, so I get these phone calls, right? It's like, you know, this is happening, you know, or something's going on. You get that feeling in your stomach.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, and then it's the anxiety here. These two brains are connected. But you know, what you said something recently, we know the science is that the bacteria here are actually related to how this brain works. So I used the chemical glyphosate, and I wrote an article, it's probably been a year, maybe 9 months ago, but about
a gluten article?
It's not just gluten.
It's not just gluten.
Yeah, it's not just gluten. The gluten craze right now, you know, and you know, no doubt gluten can be very damaging, but glyphosate is worse, and that's what's on all the conventional games. That's that chemical I was saying that they're spraying on to harvest it, desiccation, and also as a pesticide and a herbicide. But anyway, so glyphosate it destroys certain bacteria in the gut that we need to make certain amino acids that we need to make brain chemicals called neurotransmitters. Right. Bacteria get destroyed. You don't make these amino acids that you need to make these brain chemicals or neurotransmitters. So therefore, a lot of Senef's work from MIT shows that therefore what's happening is it's causing depression. It's causing dementia. It's causing a lot of things that the brain needs these neurotransmitters for. So we're not making them. So all because of that chemical. And of course it does other things, but the point I want to make is that the bacteria here are related to how this works. Okay. Now, the bacteria here are also related to your immune system. It's estimated that 75 to 85% of your immune system starts here. Well, let me just give you one example of that. So many people today are lacking because of all the antibiotic use. You know, when my generation grew up, if a kid got a sore throat and earache, I mean, they just threw antibiotics at it because it worked, right?
Yeah.
It takes away. Today, I think people are being more, you know, privy to the fact that that's not always a good idea. But it's still happening because parents want the quick fix.
Right, short-term solution.
Absolutely. So, but we now know that we have reaped a nasty harvest. because we've destroyed a lot of these bacteria that unfortunately we can't get in a pill necessarily. And these bacteria, what they do is they communicate to certain cells, and they make cells called T regulatory cells. Well, those cells tell our immune system that everything's okay. So if you see a pollen or this invader, and the body realizes, okay, it's okay, so it releases these T regulatory cells to calm down that immune attack, the body from attacking itself. So when you don't have enough of those bacteria, you don't make enough of these T regulatory cells, therefore you can't control your immune system, aka autoimmune, where your body's causing inflammation, causing it to attack itself, allergies, food sensitivities, because you don't have enough of this specific bacteria. So that's just one example of how your gut plays into your immune system.
It's really ground zero. Wow. Well, okay. So now we know kind of what's causing it, what the symptoms are, and so how do you fix a sick gut?
Well,
what do you do with your clients?
Obviously, the gut is just like another tissue, right? We need to heal it. You have to stop. If you hurt your hand, Meredith, okay, and it was very hurt. If I sat there and hit it with a hammer, I just kind of want to do this, but I'm not going to. And would it ever heal if I kept hitting it? No. So we have to stop hitting it. That's the first thing. So, what I mean by that is stop eating those foods that are causing problems.
R number one, remove the source.
R number one, remove the source. And secondly, then there's some things that we can do to speed up that process of healing, right? There's things that can actually help heal the tissues. That's what this is about, because these smoothies are not just regular smoothies.
No.
And I want to bring up one point before we talk about the gut healing qualities of smoothies. That's one reason why they're not just average smoothies. These are gut smoothies. But also, these smoothies are high in fats. They're low in carbohydrates, sugars that raise glucose, right? And moderate protein. Now, why that's important, that's basically my cellular healing diet, is because fats are very important to healing the gut. Fats are very important to healing the cell. Raising glucose. So most people drink these smoothies, even in a health food store. They're loaded with sugar. You've seen it. You wouldn't drink one, would you?
No, only make my own. Yeah.
And it looks healthy, even if it's green, but really it's loaded with sugar. Because that's it. I mean, so these do taste good. We have clever ways, but they make those taste very good because they load them up with sugar. And folks, if you want to age faster than anybody, raise your glucose. And those healthy smoothies are raising glucose, causing inflammation, really adding to the gut problem. So most healthy smoothies are not healthy at all. So caution out there. So these smoothies are definitely low glycemic smoothies, which we need to downregulate inflammation. So that's point number one.
Awesome.
Point number two, we have some special ingredients here.
We do. And do you want to jump into this? Do you want to talk a little bit more?
No, we want to talk about some other gut healing things.
Okay, we do some other tactics.
Because we want to give you some things. I mean, we didn't want to just show you how to make a healthy smoothie. Which we're going to do.
We're going to talk about fasting.
Yeah,
and how you can incorporate that with gut healing.
Fasting, I think that if you go back to an episode called Ancient Healing, I talk a lot about that, so you can go back to that show and see more on this topic. But there's a surface here to cover fasting. There's a few fasts that we do that I train doctors to do around the country. And we talk a lot about intermittent fasting, and I also have written many articles about that. But these fasts have things like bone stock, which contain collagen, a type 2 collagen, that not only is good for the connective tissue here, but also the connective tissue here. So bone stock also has some amazing qualities, and the reason why we utilize these types of fasts is it starves down all the bacteria in the gut. That might not sound like a good idea, but I can promise you it is, because when you have what is called dysbiosis, that simply means you have too many bad guys and not enough good guys. Well, we can try to give enough good guys to supersede the bad guys, but sometimes when dysbiosis is very bad, it's hard to give enough good guys, right? So what we do is by starving down all bacteria, and then after the fast, then we re-inoculate with the good. It's a much easier way to beat the dysbiosis. So you see that? So when we do a bone stock fast, we starve down all the bacteria, and then we re-inoculate, because we make these guys so weak, the bad ones, Now we're able to come in with the good ones. So that's the idea, and it really does work. But also, Bone Stock has trace minerals, type 2 collagen, and many nutrients that come out of those bones that for years, hundreds of years, that's why it's in our ancient healing category, have been used to fix many different conditions in the immune system, obviously because the gut's connected to the immune system.
Right. And fasting really gives your body a break, too, from constantly digesting food all the time, to be able to just, you're removing the source. You're removing all of those, foods and things that irritate the gut to really give it some time to heal and seal and to really repair on its own.
Heal and seal. I like that. Heal and seal. I'm going to use that. You heard it here.
Awesome. So, all right, so we've got fasting, and you do the Bone Stock fasting. Anything else here? I think maybe you want to talk about other products.
This is a product called Whey Water. Call Lovely Meredith if you want to know how to order Whey Water. But Whey Water has been used for thousands of years for fasting. And Whey Water is an amazing thing. It's not whey protein, folks. This is a liquid. I would say clear, but it's not as a yellowy tint to it. But it's when they make cheese, this whey water comes off. And, Hippocrates nicknamed the stuff healing water, right? Years and years ago, father of medicine. And I believe, look, it has a profound effect on the liver, the kidneys, and the gut. Those are the three main detox pathways, ironically enough. So we like to start off with a lot of preparation for detox with Whey Water fast. And matter of fact, I wrote an article on episode 76, the one before this one, about true cellular detox. I talk about the prep phase. Oftentimes, we do these intermittent fasts in the prep phase to heal the gut, but not just the gut. Something like this brings health to the liver. It brings health to the kidneys. And it also offers very, very unique bacteria, oftentimes that you can't get in a pill necessarily. So a pretty neat product. And it's very easy to do fast on this. There's videos on the website of my 12-year-old doing a fast when he was 12. He's actually 17 now. So wow,
anybody can do it.
I remember 12 because I remember him saying it on the video. But anyone can do it. We've done several of these fasts as well. But so Whey Water really offers a lot of healing, to the liver, the kidney, the gut. But also, I believe it got its nickname healing water from what it does at the cell. It has the perfect ratio of sodium and potassium, which when certain people are fasting, that gets out of rhythm very easy. So therefore, this fast is much easier to do than a beef stock fast. Which, by the way, we have beef stock already made. Give them a link for that, and there's some other ideas you can get. But that's the Whey Water fast. So we'll move from that, and I did want to give you some information on the beef stock. So.
Yeah, there's an awesome company that actually delivers grass-fed bone broth to your door, 100% organic, from non-GMO animals. And so if you go to drpompa.com under the services tab, it says bone broth delivery. You can click there, and you can get access to this awesome bone broth if you don't feel like making your own. Although it's very easy to make your own. You can check out another article on drpompa.com. It's called Ancient Healing with bone broth. And so you can check that out. There's a recipe there. Or just give me a call. I can tell you how to do it. It's very, very easy. And the bone broth recipe is also on drpompa.com.
People have made bone broth say, gosh, I get nauseous. I get sick of the flavor. Well, my patient tried the one that's already made that's delivered to you. And he's a very good chef, right? So, and she was like, now this is amazing, right? Something about not making it yourself. Smelling the smell, and then just getting this stuff. I'm telling you, it was like soup. I was like, boy, this was like the best soup I ever had. So you can make it yourself, but you can buy it pre-made, which I don't know what he does, but it is so good.
Lots of good herbs and spices.
And here's some other types of collagen. This is some of the stuff that gets pulled out of the bones. So I have a lot of times I have my clients add this even to their stock just to get even more collagen, because remember, that actually can heal the gut and shut down some of the leaky gut. So
you can add in the gelatin to the stock as well, which I've done, and it really just makes it very gelatinous, very soothing, very healing.
And those products are sold here,
Revelation Health? They're sold. You can get them on revelationhealth.com, and they're also going to be in part of our smoothie today. But okay, so we talked about the fasting, talked about smoothies. What are some of the supplements you add in to kind of support gut health?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great product. It's called Immuno G PRP. And that is something made from colostrum. But there's a lot of colostrum products sold out there, but it's the heating process that kills something called PRPs. These propylene-rich polypeptides, which this product is just loaded with. And, these things are important because they're healing. What proline-rich polypeptides is a big word. But, really what it means is that there's certain proteins that we need that we can't get destroyed in a product, and most of the products destroy them. So they put the label, the immuno-GPRP. Now, colostrum is also loaded with other growth factors. It raises up these things that actually cause healing. So, when I love this product, when I started using it when I worked out, within a week, I noticed like results in my workouts. Strength went up, things like that. It's because, it's because of the growth factors in there and its effect on growth hormone, which also drives gut healing. So, this is a very special colostrum. And it has everything maintained because of the process they use, not to heat up these very, very fragile proline-rich polypeptides. So you want to keep those good.
From healthy grass-fed animals too.
Absolutely. Yeah, wood grass-fed, which is really important. A lot of the colostrums that are out there are not wood grass-fed. And by the way, this whey water is also from grass-fed cows, and we've done many videos about that. We talk a lot about fats and how important fats are, for healing the gut. This is from these two products are X Factor butter oil. Western Price made this popular.
Yeah.
He believed that
the X Factor. What's the X Factor?
Yeah, the X Factor. So when cows eat grass, there's like literally 1 week in the spring that the grass is so rich in this one factor that he called X Factor.
Didn't know what it was.
Yeah, exactly. But they knew it was there. They didn't have a name. He called it the X Factor. But they harvest this stuff 1 week out of the year. That's it. So, they take they're not harvesting the grass. The cows are eating the grass. So that week, then they take the milk and they make these X Factor butter oils from it. But now some of these, that's straight X Factor oil.
And the X Factor is vitamin K2.
It is.
What that they had named.
Yeah, and he believed there was other components, and that's why he just didn't want to just call it vitamin K2.
Right.
Yeah, he believed that there was something more special that happens during that time.
Oh, okay.
But it is loaded with K2 because grass-fed anything is loaded with K2. Most Americans, we did a video a long time ago. We talked about
vitamin deficiencies.
K2 is part of it. But the X Factor actually is a really unique story if you read Western Price's stuff. So this one actually has the X Factor butter oil, and it also has extra virgin coconut oil. It also has something called fermented skate oil, which is a fish that has amazing qualities to it, and fermented cod liver oil. So you have the butter oil, the coconut oil, the fermented skate, and the fermented cod. Amazing healing qualities. And the thing that I often don't like about people just taking fish oil is you throw the ratio off in the balance. Well, having the butter in there, right, and the coconut oil, it brings much more balance, I think, to the product. And so this is one of my favorites. It's called Blue Ice Infused X Factor butter oil. And to differentiate it from other Blue Ice oils, it's the one with the extra coconut oil. Remember, there's 4 oils, so it's one of my favorites.
4 different flavors, yeah, that's a great.
And there's different flavors too, because that could get kind of nasty. Well, here quickly we have some other products. L Liver. Why L Liver? Why this liver product? It's always in my preparatory phases, whether it's amalgam or whether it's before detox. The liver plays into digestion. People don't understand that. Many of the gut issues that don't heal, it's because people have a toxic liver, and this supports liver health. L-Gut is certain enzymes that break down gluten. Now we talked about gluten and other undigested proteins. When you have a leaky gut, they get into the gut, into these out patchings where the inflammation is. And even though you may have gotten out of the stuff out of your diet months, years, you can have these proteins embedded there driving inflammation. This dissolves that stuff. So oftentimes we like to use it within a fast to dissolve these proteins out of the gut. Also, if you make a mistake in your diet and get exposed to gluten, you're very sensitive, you can take these and it will break that gluten down, which your body can't.
Isn't that product great for casein challenges as well?
You can take it for people who have like, not just casein, but also lactose intolerance. So they can take this, so you might say, I can't do lactose because they don't have enough enzyme. This helps with that.
Awesome.
So very important. And then this is just, this was a product called Probiophage. We did an episode a few weeks ago with Dr. Shank. And if you want to know more about why these phage, actually, is what they're called. So it's really probiophage. I said phage years ago, and so it's stuck with me. But these are little Pac-Man guys that we like to put in the gut before we load it up with probiotic to kill off certain things. Watch the show, you'll understand why this is important. We could do a whole show on that, we don't have time, but we did a whole show on it. So
yes, so check that out. Yeah.
L-Gut was designed by that scientist there that you saw in the interview with the phage. This is meant to support leaky gut. It can close down. There's things in here that studies show that actually can close down something called tight junctions that are left wide open, and therefore these proteins go across, right? So it's designed.
That product really helped me. I took that for a while, and I really felt good about that.
Doubt.
Yeah.
You know, most people are familiar with glutamine is doing that, but I think this is L-Gut is glutamine on steroids. Right? It's better than glutamine. Yeah. MBC is one of the bacteria that we love, and I love to rotate it with Prescript Assist. So NBC, and this one's called Prescript Assist. I always say, this has 19 different unique bacteria in it. Which
from the soil.
Yeah, from the soil, which is different than anything that you're going to buy probiotic in a store. But this also focuses more on probiotics that the MBC that most people aren't getting. You know, because they typically have the standard 7,
right?
The standard 10 or 11, yeah. So this focuses more on unique. But one thing I always say is, don't just keep taking the probiotic month after month.
Right.
That's why I rotate them. I change them to get unique bacteria in it.
It makes perfect sense. We're going to diversify our flora.
And sometimes enzymes. People need enzymes while they're here in the gut to break down the food to get more out of it. So there you go. So there's a run through of the product. But let's get to these amazing smoothies that you have the ability to create.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So I'm going to make this smoothie here, and we're going to start off with a base. And the base I love to use for smoothies is full-fat organic coconut oil. And I always try to buy a BPA-free can. You can make your own coconut oil if you have the time. I don't, but this is one that I like, and I just got a whole bunch.
So, by the way, the reason there's BPA, which comes from plastic, this could be dangerous. I've done this in my
nice and thick. There we go.
I see that. I knew it was
behind got a brace for it.
Fat on the top. The cream always rises to the top.
Yes, it does.
Anyways, they put a lining in the can, and that's what gives off the BPA. So make sure you don't do that. Now, in the old days, they would actually use solder in these, and there was lead going into a lot of these foods. So I couldn't read that. Okay, anyway, so that's what we want to make sure the cans are safe. So go on. That brings in the high fat.
Yes, great base. And why do we need this fat? What kind of fat is in it? Why do you kind of like coconut oil?
Well, I mean, coconut oil has things called medium chain triglycerides. And medium chain triglycerides actually help you become a better fat burner. And
fat burning. Who doesn't want more of that, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Awesome.
But also, by the way, most people lack, those medium chain triglycerides. So it's very important. So coconut oil also helps the thyroid and helps support thyroid function. So because of the medium chain triglycerides, so it's a great fat.
Good stuff. Awesome. Next, I'm throwing in some fresh basil. A couple weeks ago at my house, we have a little herb garden, and I was thinking, gosh, I have all this basil. What can I do with it? So I was like, well, maybe I'll stick it in a smoothie. So I grabbed a couple of huge handfuls, and this time the basil supply is getting a little low at our house, so we're just I have like one good handful here. But I threw that in. We don't have enough fresh herbs and spices in our diet these days in the modern diet. So I just like to incorporate them as much as possible. So threw in some fresh basil. And we're going to add some fresh berries as well. Travis is going to get those. They were in the freezer because we didn't want them to be all melted when we made this. So these are just some wild organic blueberries. You can use fresh. Just have the frozen here for today. But I throw just a whole bag in.
You can raspberries too.
Yep, raspberries are awesome. Blackberries, really anything. And I usually make smoothies. These are 2 servings. So the nice thing is once I make it, I'm good for 2 days worth of breakfast, lunch. So the whole can of coconut milk, some basil, some wild blueberries. I'm going to add in then something called bee pollen. And
Dr. Pompa was eating that before the show.
He was snacking up on a handful of that. And I like to add about a handful in. But depending on, hey, throw another one in. Your sweetness preference, you can add in some more. But bee pollen is the food of young bees. And it's one of nature's most perfect foods. It's about 40% protein. So it's a really great thing. You can use raw honey too, but if you can get some bee pollen.
But this is less sweet.
Yes,
I was surprised. You had told me that it's 40% protein, actually, which I was shocked. And it also offers many enzymes that people lack, with a digestive dysbiosis. So.
Supports hormone balance, fertility. It's a great product. So think about that. And actually, it cannot be synthesized in laboratories. Synthesized. So when you get it that it's the real deal. We actually have it at our store. We sell it in 1 pound bags here. So
here's something else that I was eating before the show.
Yes.
What is that he was eating? I was eating salt. I'm a firm believer in the benefits of sea salt.
And
I love salt. So how much should I put in?
There we go. That's good.
Looks like a teaspoon to me.
A teaspoon, depending on what you like. Great for electrolyte balance as well. Anytime I make
anything that's like most people are lacking in soil healthy, I always go a little.
Just throw it in. Well, that's the fun thing about this too. Yes, the recipe is online, but be free with it too. Have fun with it. Tweak it to your personal preference. Always add in salt though. So really anything I make sweet, even really any dessert. But I like that balance, and it's great for your electrolytes too.
My grandmother used to salt her fruit.
Yes.
And
watermelon, so good.
And I thought it was the most bizarre thing. She did it to actually make it sweeter. So that's
interesting. The flavor.
Yeah.
Always salt it in, and then lastly, we're going to add in some.
If my sister's watching this, she's laughing right now.
All right, awesome. And so we have this grass-fed collagen. It's from grass-fed cows in Argentina. And so I always add this in to really kind of supercharge the gut healing component of these smoothies. So, a couple tablespoons in. I just kind of mix it in.
Yeah, I can add a little bit.
Oh, wait, I forgot. I want to wait and add these in the second step. Sorry, so I'm going to mix it. A little bit got in, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to first blend this, and then we'll add in the collagen and the gelatin. So, all right.
I have seen disasters.
Yes.
And although if we had one, we would have a YouTube thing.
Okay, so you know how to use it. All right.
In my house, though, you have to understand, I have been bitten by this thing.
You have the same.
What happens? Here's what happened. Someone keeps the darn thing on high, right?
And
I'm thinking, see?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what happens.
Not
but the lid's not on, and I'm telling you, it hits the ceiling. You have years later, you will find blueberry smegma
up in the corners. Yeah.
So anyway,
do not leave your bite
here's what I think's going to happen. So I'm doing this. The lid's on because I'm adding something. So I still was scared by it.
Yeah.
And so I tried, but it's on high, so it explodes. So that's how that happened.
Well, I didn't bring the tamper, but right. So then so you slowly mix that in.
Then you hit it on high. Still scary.
And the next thing, though, which I already added a little collagen in accidentally, but a little prematurely. But what I do then is I mix the base of the smoothie really well. Then I add in the collagen and the gelatin powders. These have, if you kind of put these in at a really high speed with the blender, it can mechanically damage the fragile proteins in here. So I mix the base, and then I always just add in a little bit of the collagen and the gelatin and mix it in at a low speed so they don't get damaged.
This recipe, many of the ones in the book have this, the amino.
Yes.
Not many, but you can add this to any of them. But it too would probably be better to keep out until the end, right?
Right. Okay. And just always add that in at a low speed at the end. So you can mix it on high or medium to begin with the base. Then add these in. So I added in some of the collagen powder, and then I added in the gelatin powder as well. It's really good for healing the gut, but it also makes things more gelatinous. So if you want your smoothie to have a little thinner consistency, leave out the gelatin. Otherwise, if you like kind of that thickness, you can add it in. Sometimes I add in a good amount, stick it in the fridge, and then it turns into a pudding after a couple of hours, which is really fun and nice.
So creative. You can also add your fats, your good fats.
Yes.
Some people like to
throw in more.
I can put things in here.
Beautiful. We're going to mix that on slow.
Look at that. I almost had it
on
the
oil, see? All right. Slowly mix that in. That's about good.
Oh, that's it.
Nice
that's right.
Gentle.
The point was not to go crazy.
See, we're learning though. We're learning here. Beautiful.
All
right. Right in. You're in that habit.
I made a
muscle memory, right? Like, all right. All right.
Her and Warner are very into the details.
We're detail people.
People like me can make them very nervous.
Hey, we all got to work together, right? And then I always just like to stick my smoothies in a little mason jar because it's great for travel. So, whoops. See how we do here? That one's for you, Dr. Palmer. You're going to give it a little taste. We'll see.
That is unique, and I love that.
Awesome.
I love that.
Awesome. Not too sweet either, because that's the point. You don't want to spike your blood sugar, but you want to get the good fats, the great protein, and you want to be satisfied. And if you have this for breakfast, believe me, you'll be good till lunch. You can also, if you're practicing intermittent fasting, skip breakfast, have, organic coffee or tea, a little bit of good fat, have some coconut oil, and then this could be lunch, too, if you just want a light lunch.
Yeah.
So either way, so that's pretty much it. This website, or this recipe is on drpompa.com.
How do they get the book, the smoothie?
Yeah, so you'll go on drpompa.com, there's a recipes tab at the top. If you kind of hover over that, it'll say free smoothie ebook. And you can click on that, you can download it as a PDF. Also, there's a coupon code in the book for 10% off these grass-fed collagen and gelatin powders. So on revelationhealth.com. So you'll get the coupon code, then go to revelationhealth.com, type in the coupon code, and get the discount on these products. And this recipe is on drpompa.com, just under the smoothies tab. And otherwise, that's pretty much it. So have fun and enjoy making them, and enjoy kind of really supporting your gut.
Absolutely. Now, don't expect something, like this next week. This is going to be every once in a while. Yeah, we're spoiling them with all.
Oh, well,
they're going to say, I want to go into Meredith's kitchen again at Revelation Health.
Hey, we can do that.
Absolutely. We do have to do this more often. So, okay. Well, we'll see you next week with another great show. See you then.
Thanks, guys. Take care.